On January 28th, some brokerages, particularly app-based brokerage services such as Robinhood, halted the buying of GameStop and other securities, citing the next day their inability to post sufficient collateral at clearing houses to execute their clients' orders. Guys, we just got something from the OCC that states collateral treatment of special purchase acquisition companies, and in detail, this basically says that SPACs will no longer be able to be used as collateral. What does that mean? That means less collateral for bad positions, in which will affect GameStop as well as AMC. Reverse repo also continuing to drain down to 11 billion. What's happening? A lot of liquidity is going into T-bills, which following that will rotate into risk on assets like stocks, especially meme plays, speculative plays, as well as altcoins. But that is not all. U.S. margin debt jumped to 37 billion in August, which is a record of 1.06 trillion. So it jumped up 37 billion all the way to new record highs. And over the last 3 months, the margin debt has surged a total of $139 billion. On a year-over-year basis, the margin debt level has risen to a whopping 798 billion, or up 33%. Investors are using margin to buy stocks like never before, and that is because a lot of the money is tied up in T-bills, as well as this will be evaporated very, very soon. Now, we are seeing correlation from the SPY like we saw back in 2021, in which case we saw about a 4.5% drop on the market during GameStop and AMC short squeeze. We are seeing very similar turbulence and very similar patterns within the market dynamics that show the SPY should technically have a correction. What correction would that look like? That would look like a correction down to 632. This will also cause a lot of positions, especially leveraged positions on margin debt, to shuffle around. This also brings us into the next point. Extremely unusual to see GME net call premium go vertical on OPEX. We had call premium spike on GameStop over the past week, in which we've seen the chart. It's very bullish, and we'll jump into that in 1 second. But what we've also seen is GameStop closed above $26 on Friday yesterday, which was actually pretty big. This means coming into Monday, market makers, you'll likely see buying pressure either way. Market makers will come in and they will hedge to stay neutral, buying up the stock as people are flooding into call options. Why they do this is because in case these calls are exercised, they need to have shares on hand. That way they stay delta neutral in their positions. Now, why is there so many calls being bought up? Well, obviously because we see a short squeeze ahead and risk on assets. But we also saw another release from OCC markets. And this basically says that the warrants, options contracts in general, are going to adjust for the warrants that are released on GameStop. Now, that is going to potentially make calls more attractive. Reason being is because if you have a call and you exercise your call, you're not only getting those shares, but you're getting the warrants, as long as you exercise the call before a specific date. Now, in my opinion, a lot of big money players are going to do this. And we saw 79,000 calls expire in the money on Friday as well. Actually, maybe even more than that. Max Payne was about 24.50. We didn't only close above 25, but we closed above 26, which is very, very beautiful for GameStop stock. Guys, if I didn't ask you yet, I'm just going to ask you very quickly to hit the like button. It's free, and drop a comment to get the algorithm pushing my video out to more viewers. On top of that, if you guys watched this far to the video, I have a secret code in the comments. It is investing, all caps. If you want to join the Discord, I'm giving you a percentage off to join right now if you haven't gotten in yet. GameStop's chart is so gorgeous. This is the 4-hour time frame. And as you can see, we have just built out this chop pattern right here in this part of the blue cycle that we have drawn out. These don't have to play out exact, but they basically are. It is right now. It's playing out almost exact, which means we should see a gap up pre-market open. How high? Well, we don't necessarily know, but I don't know a reason anybody would be bearish on GameStop coming into the next couple of months. I really do not see it. I see almost an exact setup of 2021 in all scenarios, in liquidity and margin debt and leverage, everything, right? I see a beautiful weekly candle. I see a golden cross to the upside, right? We had 3 weekly candles close green in a row now, and this huge full body candle closed above 25. We had the next full body weekly candle open above 25, very, very bullish, or right around that region, right? And we tested and only got a small wick into this huge sell block above 26. Between 26 and 31, there's basically a huge sell block to try and pin GameStop's price. I believe we're going to absorb this week, but we need a lot of volume to come in. We saw an increase in volume the prior week, not an increase this week, so we could see an explosion in volume this upcoming week. And essentially, that's kind of what we need. If we see less volume in this week ahead, it's not going to be too good for GameStop. But right now, it looks as if we are going to build another beautiful weekly candle at minimum up to $30. But ultimately, the 4 hours telling us that we are going to squeeze coming into this week. Everything is bullish, especially the options chain as well. AMC got this spike on Friday. Well, actually, got this spike, I believe it was on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. And this intraday move was up about almost 10%. Basically 10% to the peak of the move from the prior day's close. And as you can see on the chart, this is lining up perfectly with what we've had drawn out, right? Lining up perfectly with what we had drawn out. But if you come and you take a look, you might ask, well, lottery stocks, why do we have that candle on AMC but not GameStop? And because AMC, usually pops higher, doesn't rally. Well, if we take a look back at the May run-up in 2024, we've seen, since the intraday low prior the close, right? Close right about here. We've seen about an 11% candle right here. 11% candle. And then we saw about a 28% candle. And these are 4-hour candles, keep in mind, right? This isn't an entire daily candle. And then we saw 48% candle, a 10% candle, then a 103% candle. And that's essentially how AMC ran. If we looked at the same setup, we saw about a 10% candle so far. And then the 4-hour open on Monday, if we saw a similar move, would mean it pops AMC up to 385, and then so on and so on and so on. This is just assuming that we play out something similar, but if we are expecting this move on GameStop, then we're expecting it on AMC too, and I am extremely hyped to come into the week. On top of that, everything we talked about correlates to Bitcoin as well, having a green September. Aside from a green September, showing that October, November, December usually run very good in the markets as well as Bitcoin if we have a green September, right? Separate from that, right? Because we talked about that before. If history repeats, October's average return for GameStop or for Bitcoin is around 20%, 20 to 22%, which would put Bitcoin roughly 141K. Will we see that? I'm not sure. But we do still have 2 weeks left of September, so we can't really state just yet how October will go. But based off of everything, taking a step back, it looks as if we are going to see mid-October be the peak of squeezes, meme mania, and euphoric state. And the way everything is set up, right? The margin debt as well as the reverse repos shows that we are due for a heavy pullback following the euphoric state. So enjoy the rally that is to come. In my opinion, I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. In meme stock, short squeeze plays, altcoins, right? Enjoy the rally, enjoy the move before we have a hefty pullback. Overall, guys, we are also talking in Discord a tiny bit. I talked about crypto that I am leverage trading this morning, and since the call out, it's up about 20%. So if you're not in the Discord server, I'm leaving a promo code that you can use at checkout. Just put it all caps investing in the description at checkout, and you will get a percentage off coming into the Discord. Again, guys, if you are sleeping on it, if you have been sleeping on it, now is your chance to get in with a discount. This discount is random. It will be gone by Monday. Okay, so if it's Sunday and you're watching the video, you still have time. But Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard, that promo code is gone. That is it, guys. Make sure to join the Discord, top link in the description. And then under that is my custom indicator that you can get for 7 days for free to test out on your TradingView charts. And yeah, let's make some money this week. I am extremely excited. Make sure to comment down below. I'm going to try to read all of your comments. I love you all. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Lottery Stocks out.